What is good, group number one? For those of you who are drawn to the first image, this is going to be you all's reading today. We're going to be getting some messages on what is your reputation? All right, let's get some messages on what's your reputation. Hey, Spirit, this is for group number one. Please provide clear, guided, healing messages for group one of today regarding their reputation. Okay. Hmm. So this is pretty good energy. I'm immediately drawn to this Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. So I feel like you're viewed as a fairly fair person, very generous. You may be someone who's very giving, but not in like a people pleasing way. That may have been more so of your past. You may have been somebody in like a Six of Pentacles in reverse energy of like over giving um, to others. But I feel like your reputation with this moon energy, talking about like the subconscious, you may have done a lot of inner work, a lot of shadow work, and a lot of inner healing and introspection um, regarding like how you may interact with others. Maybe you were somebody who cared more about the perceptions of others, and how other people viewed and thought about you versus how you viewed and thought about yourself. But due to that inner work, I feel like you have done, and again, it's more of like on a subconscious level. Um, you have kind of come into balance with yourself, and I feel like your reputation is that you have changed. You are no longer that person you were in the past, maybe back in your younger years, teenage years. Um, you used to be, again, quite a bit of a people pleaser, always giving to others, but maybe not giving to yourself as much as you should. Um, so, excuse me. So again, like part of your reputation is that you've changed, you've healed. Now, when it comes to like making changes like that, from being a people pleaser to no longer that, you're gonna have people who are upset about that. You may have people who, the ones who benefited from you, um, not having as strong of boundaries. They may be, feeling some type of way about that, but it's not your problem. Um, Again, you've healed and changed for the better. And I feel like you are just a little bit more happier in life now than you were back in those people pleasing days. Another thing, I'm hearing ADHD, so I don't know if somebody here is neurodivergent, or you just maybe ADHD, or kind of like maybe you're a little bit impulsive with this Knight of Wands energy. Um, but it's not in reverse, so it's not necessarily a chaotic energy. You may have a like significant Mars placement, but I feel like you are somebody who, um I'm getting something about like having a lot of passions in life. You may be somebody who's quite like multifaceted. You may not have just like one specific thing. I mean, there may be one specific thing that you're like super into, but like for the most part, I I don't know, your energy feels very, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it multifaceted? No, it's another word I'm looking for. I don't know. But I guess what I'm kind of getting from that is you may be just interested in a lot of different things or have a lot of different like interests, beliefs, maybe some of you different hobbies. Um, and with this moon energy, it's like more and more layers of yourself is being illuminated to others. I feel like a lot of people with this moon energy, you could be somebody who's maybe very to yourself, or you're very private. And quite a bit of people don't really know too much about you, or at least know who you are on like a deep core level. So you may have people who um is introduced to one part or aspect or one aspect of you, but then you kind of like uncover another layer, or another layer is illuminated with the moon energy. um so that's so you kind of like, with this Knight of Wands and Moon's energy, you kind of keep people on their toes when it comes to like their thoughts and opinions. I'm even getting like their assumptions about you. You may have people who assume a lot of things about you, especially if you're somebody who's very private and to themselves. Um, People may come up with like their own like lore about you, especially if this is like a workplace, is what I'm getting. Even for some of you with your very own family, you may have even you may have grown up with them, but there may be certain parts or aspects of you that you don't show them, or you don't let out with them. um so ooh you may have some very gossipy family members. I'm picking that up really, really strong. I'm also hearing church mother. So I don't know, some of you may have like family who are very like religious. um oh, I'm seeing like a church mom, like those church mothers who sit on like the front row. They got their big hats and things like that. I'm kind of seeing that. So again, you may come from like a religious background, um, but I feel like that has shifted. Also, you may have gone through a lot of changes regarding your belief system, um, and your values with this moon and this Queen of Pentacles energy. And again, part of your reputation is that you're no longer who they knew you as in the past. Um, and that's great, at least for you. That's really good. Again, you may have people around who really benefited from you not having those boundaries, or not standing firm on those boundaries. But now that you're in a much um, more level-headed energy, more grounded energy with this Queen of Pentacles and Six of Pentacles energy, those people no longer are able to get over on you. So kudos to you, group number one. That's really, really good. You come off as very gentle, very grounded, very level headed with this Queen of Pentacles. You may be someone who, um, has worked really hard on creating balance in your life. This wasn't something that is given to you, and you may even not be exactly where you want to be, but I feel like you're in a much better place. God damn, a much better place now than you were in the past. Again, you may not be exactly where you want to be or even need to be, but your growth is apparent. Like, a lot of people have noticed your growth. Um, and they also see you as very patient, but also like, I feel like inward energy with this Knight of Wands energy is like you're ready for more. You're ready for things to move, to grow even larger. I'm getting peppermint energy. Is coming through peppermint. And peppermints are very kind of like invasive in a sense. They tend to kind of grow and um what's the word I'm looking for? Almost kind of engulf, like, the pot that is in, or the place, the area that is in, it tends to grow quite wild. um Again, it's a plant, it takes its time. It has to, but also, when it gets there, like, um it has a bit of a wild energy. So, maybe some of you may have a bit of a Gemini energy here of, um maybe around certain people, and it's not like a fake energy. I don't pick up like fake at all. It's more of like, around certain people, you may have a certain personality, and then around others, you may have a completely different personality. Um, and it's not necessarily, again, fakeness. It feels more of like, with this Queen of Pentacles energy, like, comfort, who you feel safe with, to show certain parts or aspects of yourself. So you're definitely an onion, or a parfait if you like, whatever you want to take, whatever layers, or what is the ice cream, the talenti, whatever it's called. You just someone who has a lot of different layers to them. I feel like I'm even a little bit all over the place with reading your energy because of how different you are, and how just multi-faceted and and how many different aspects of you there are. Sometimes you're very quiet and very grounded and to yourself, and other times you may be a little bit more wild and, a little bit more extroverted, or um, in a bit more of a chaotic energy. Somebody here may practice like chaos magic. Take what resonates. I'm also picking transmutation magic too, but I'm seeing a poppet also. So I don't know. Some of you may practice, witchcraft, or you may have like a specific spiritual practice, to you, or to your religion, or to your culture. Um, but I am picking that up strong. Very witchy vibes here. I'm also picking up, death energy here at the bottom of the deck. So Scorpio energy is significant. The moon with, um, holy shit, Cancer. I'm also picking up Pisces. Got Sagittarius energy. Taurus energy, strong Taurus and Capricorn. Virgo too, I guess, but heavy on the Taurus energy. Um, and it's funny that Taurus and Scorpio are sister signs. So again, you may be just someone who, one moment or one day you're feeling this way, and the next way you're feeling another way. You may be somebody who no longer mask. You no longer like hide how you feel, or hide, your emotions or feelings, or how you're feeling that day or at that moment. Um, you're just yourself, and you don't hide yourself. You don't hide, um, or at least you no longer hide, certain aspects of yourself. And so you have become comfortable being perceived. And that's powerful all in itself, because a lot of people are, you know, choose to not be themselves, or choose to not show certain parts of themselves, because they may fear or worry about how other people may perceive them, or view them. But not you, group number one, um, or at least not anymore. You're very much in a more grounded and comfortable, headspace in your life. But again, with this death energy, again, part of your reputation is that you've changed, you've grown. Death energy is about, rebirth, renewal. So you are somebody who's constantly changing, you're constantly transforming. You may even be somebody who has grown accustomed to change. Maybe things have just never been the same in your life. And I feel like that's that ADHD energy I was picking up. Like, you're okay with change, you're okay with movement in your life. In fact, you crave change. Um, maybe so, with the ADHD energy, you get bored of the same old things, and you just want more. And that's great. That's fine. I love that for you. But continue to hold those boundaries. Continue to grow. Continue to evolve. Continue to show motherfuckers that you are not the one nor the two. Um, but yeah, group number one, I believe these are all the messages that I'm seeing for y'all. So let me know how this reading resonates for you in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all stay well, stay blessed, and I will see y'all in my next reading. Peace out. What is good, group number two? For those of you who are drawn to the second image, this is going to be you all's reading today. We're going to be getting some messages on what is your reputation? What is your reputation? So this is for group number two, spirit guys. What is group number two's reputation? So the first thing that came to me as I was shuffling the cards here, I saw the what was it? The nine. Oh yeah, here it is again. Nine of Wands with this Four of Wands here. But definitely this Nine of Wands energy. So you come off as somebody who's very strong, very resilient. Resiliency. The word resiliency is coming through really, really strong. So you can be someone who can handle a lot. You can. I'm saying, who was it? Is it Prometheus, the in the Greek mythology, the one that has to like carry like the world on his shoulders or something like that? I don't know. I could be wrong. Excuse me. Um, but that's kind of the energy you come off as. Not how he got to that point. 'Cause I think he. I don't know if he did like something bad to get there. I need to brush up on that story. But yeah, but you come up as very strong, very resilient. You can handle a lot. You can take care of a lot. You may be somebody who's very good at like juggling multiple things, multiple priorities. Kind of like that Two of Pentacles energy. um, so I feel like that's like what a lot of people like really admire about you. I'm hearing jealousy, so you may have some people around who could be jealous of your resiliency. You may be somebody who has gone through quite a bit of like trials, tribulations. I never say that in my readings. Why did I say that? Trials and tribulations. This sound very churchy. I don't know, somebody here, you may go to church um or you used to go to church, something like that. But yeah, you may have been somebody who's just gone through a lot of different experiences, a lot of traumas that really shaped who you are today. And I feel like you've come to understand as you've gotten older that a lot of those experiences that you've gone through in your past have really, again, like shaped who you are and really built you up and made you to be the strong and resilient individual that you are today. I feel like you're coming to terms with that, or you're starting to um, yeah, like kind of coming to terms with with your past and why you had to go through certain things and why certain things that you've gone through in the past, um or what those past events had to or shaped how you operate in today's time. God damn, that it took a minute to come out. um but yeah, I feel like with this Four of Wands energy, you've built a really good life for yourself. Some of you may not necessarily be where you want to be in life, but you have built a really strong foundation for yourself. I'm hearing that it's only up from here. Um, but yeah, let's get some cards. But yeah, you definitely, I feel like a lot of people view you as very strong minded as well. Somebody here, you may have a bit of a stubbornness to you. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy here, heavy on the earth sign energy. You can be a fixed sign also. Seven of Cups, you can be somebody who's very multifaceted. Seven of Cups, Three of Pentacles, definitely multifaceted. I feel like the example I'm kind of getting is like, for example, I used to work long time ago at a fast food restaurant. I think it was like pretty much one of my first few jobs back when I was a teenager. Um, and I got hired on as the like a drive-through cashier. Like that was literally the only job I was hired on to do. But like within 2 weeks, I had already learned how to do that. I had already learned how to work the front cashier. Then I had learned how to be work the grill in the back. Then I learned the other cooking station. Like I was kind of everywhere, but it was that drive within me that really wanted to learn more. Plus, I get kind of bored with like the same old stuff. So that can be kind of your energy here as well. Like you're somebody who's known for like, kind of knowing how to do many different things. You may have a lot of, I'm hearing, tricks up your sleeve. Um, Again, just very multifaceted individual, and a lot of people really admire that about you too. Um, you may get, again, like bored easily with just kind of the same old task. So you kind of enjoy learning other things. This may even mostly pertain to like your workspace, is what I'm picking up. So your reputation at work is definitely, again, you're multifaceted and you're pretty much good at almost anything there. You may even be better at like your boss's job, than they are, or pretty close up to that. Um, I'm getting like octopus energy from this. So again, it's that multi-tasking or multi faceted type of energy here I'm picking up. I'm seeing somebody like a waitress carrying like um one hand like a tray full of food and the other hand a tray full of drinks, but she's balancing it out like very well. Like the customers are even impressed. So I don't know if that could be significant to y'all. I don't know if that's somewhere you may work now, or maybe you worked, as a waitress or a waiter in the past. Um, but Three of Pentacles energy, people really admire what you do. They admire the work that you produce. A lot of people admire your perception as well. It's something about the way you perceive things or perceive the world, is very interesting to others. Maybe something regarding like, maybe you have conversations with certain people and you may say things that gets people thinking. Um, Yes, your reputation is definitely like you're just different. Like you're built different. Um, and like a lot of people, they really, excuse me, like study you. You may have a lot of people who kind of observe you a lot. Be careful with that. You definitely want to make sure you're cleansing yourself, or if you're an experienced practitioner, definitely be doing some transmutation work. But again, you have a lot of eyes on you. A lot of people who kind of like to sit back and watch what you do, how you do it. Um, a lot of people like to hear your opinions on things. Someone here, you may be very opinionated, which is great. I love that for you. So some people may, that may ruffle quite a bit of feathers, but not necessarily in a negative way for you at least, but more so of like you offer a different perspective on things. Um, Seven of Pentacles energy, you can be somebody who's very patient as well. Um, it's like you're impatient, but also very patient at the same time. It's like you've learned that good things come to those who wait. So while you may be ready for change, you may be ready for something new, something different in certain, situations. You're also very patient and understanding that, again, like good things come to those who wait. Like you understand divine timing. You understand that, you have to, you can't rush a flower to grow. It grows in its own time. It grows when it's ready to and when it's time for it to. So you've really learned that. You may not have understood that your whole life, but that's something that you, as you've gotten older, you've really learned as well. I've mentioned a few times about, as you've gotten older, so there can be something significant about, people have really watched you change and watch you grow in over your life. So you may have, family members or friends or people who's been around you for your whole life for a really long time. They've seen and noticed this change within you, um, and how you're no longer the same person that you were when you were a child or a teenager. Some people, they may have kept the same personality or, have done the same old thing, from the time that they're a kid to the time that they're an adult. But it's like you haven't. You've changed tremendously. And that really um kind of baffles people who've known you for pretty much like your whole life. But again, it's a lot of it is coming from a place of inspiration. You really inspire others. Like you really don't. You really have no idea how much you've inspired the people around you, especially certain family members, maybe certain generations of people around you. How they've watched you kind of like do things differently. Um, some may agree and some may not agree. Um, but regardless of that, it's coming from a place of inspiration. Five of swords, 10 of swords, and then the 9 of wands came back up. So again, you part of your reputation is how you have overcome a lot of challenges, a lot of betrayals, a lot of setbacks, a lot of endings. You may have had a lot of endings in your life, from relationships, jobs. I'm hearing marriage. Somebody here, you could have um, had a divorce. Take what resonates. Something about friendships as well. Something about very shitty friendships and connections from your past. But again, like kind of going back to what I was saying before, a lot of those things that you've experienced, sure, it may have hurt. Sure, it may have been a little bit painful with all these swords in his back, but it has really built your character. It's like that phrase, adversity builds good um, character, or builds good leadership also. Excuse me. So, through all these adversities, through all these endings and kind of low points in your life, you've learned to kind of take a step back and look and see like what lessons you were taught, what lessons was the universe teaching you at that time, um, and how you can apply it to your future or to newer connections that may enter into your life. You may have made this one mistake in a past job. Let's say you may have befriended somebody at a past job that just really didn't turn out the best connection for you. But by you going through that type of betrayal in your past, you know that going into your next job, to be more discerning, to be more careful. You may have to change, a mindset of, okay, I'm here to work. I'm not here to make friends. I want to do my job and go home. So a lot of these experiences have really shaped and molded um, your intuition and um, your intuition and your mindset. So a lot of changes in your mindset that you've experienced in your life, um, excuse me, but it has really led you to be this strong, resilient, and just overall badass person that you are today. Anything else, Spirit? I don't think so. Group number two, I believe these are all the messages that I'm seeing for y'all. So let me know how this reading resonates for you in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all stay well, stay blessed, and I'll see you all in my next reading. Peace out. What is good? Group number three. Yeah, group three. Um, if you were drawn to the third image, this is going to be you all's reading today. We're going to be getting some messages on what is your reputation. All right, Spirit guys, this is for group number three. What is group number three's reputation? So before I split the deck here, you got the Fool. Excuse me. So the Fool, at least the energy I'm picking up for y'all's group, um, the Fool is somebody who takes risks. You know, sometimes it can be calculated, sometimes it can be uncalculated. But you know, he's not afraid to take risks and leaps of faith. So you may have a reputation of kind of marching to the beat of your own drum. You kind of give off the energy of like a rebel. Again, like you march to the beat of your own drum. You kind of just do you, not in necessarily a in a inconsiderate way. You got people out here who just kind of do whatever they want. You know, we got free will, sure, but they can be a little bit inconsiderate of others. But I don't feel like that's your energy. I feel like you're somebody who, you know, you may do whatever you want, but you also take into account other people. Um, Not in a people pleasing way, but you know, just again in a very empathetic way. You may be a very empathetic rebel. Take where it resonates. Um, yeah, there's just something about you and your energy that's just very different than the people around you. Maybe different than your family members, different than your friends. Um, Maybe even different than like your community or environment that you may have grown up in. I'm hearing like Bible Belt. I don't know if some of you may have grown up in like in like the Bible Belt or like in like the South or in a very like religious community, and maybe right now you're not very religious, um, or you may have grown up in like a religious family, and just as you've kind of grown older, you just no longer subscribe to that anymore. So it's just something about you that's just a little bit different than those around you, and you've learned to become very comfortable in that, very comfortable in maybe being different, being alone, um, just kind of doing you and being yourself unapologetically. I feel like that's been a bit of a journey for you, is for you to accept your authenticity. Um, but it's been a very rewarding journey for you. It could have been a little bit isolating, yeah, isolated for you. Maybe you felt a little bit excluded at times, but um, I feel like it's gonna be the most rewarding path for you, compared to others who just kind of conformed. But yeah, you just do things differently than others. You're a bit of a rebel. You're a badass, group number three. You're just, yeah, you're just different. I know I've repeated that a million times, but that's the word that just keeps coming to mind here. So group number three, what is their reputation? Six of Pentacles. So you can be quite giving, very fair. Ooh, this is kind of giving me the energy of like an advocate, or like somebody who fights for like the underdog. Maybe you were the underdog, growing up, but now as an adult, you're somebody who fights for the underdogs. Um, I don't know why I'm seeing somebody in wearing like um like alt or like kind of emo or goth type of clothing or makeup, that can be significant for somebody here. Excuse me. Um, I feel like you're somebody who's very fair. I'm drawn to the scales here. You can be very fair and maybe you know how you do things, or fair in how you, what am I looking for? Okay, you have a strong sense of justice. There we go. Um, I don't. That's what is that? Very like neurodivergent vibes. But you, again, you have a reputation of having a strong sense of justice. So that's that energy of like again fighting for the underdog, or um, maybe even this is more so of when it comes to like your beliefs, your values. You may want equality for everyone. You may advocate for why am I seeing somebody with like one of those megaphones, and they're kind of like at a parade or something, and they're just kind of like yelling through the megaphone. Um, I don't know if that could be significant. Maybe you like to advocate or you like to attend, like, you know, what are they called? Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Like not a riot, but like a march or something like that. I can't think of the word. Um, but again, like you just may have certain values or beliefs that, just at least to me, it makes complete sense. Like it makes sense that, we would want everybody to have access to universal health care. We want everyone to have access to food, to water, to basic necessities, to housing, to fair wages, like things like that. You may be very known to express these opinions of yours, which to me is just kind of facts. Like, I don't know. I really resonate with this energy that y'all have here. Um, but yeah, you just have a very strong sense of justice, and you really fight for fairness. Whether you actually attend certain like um I don't know, maybe like political meetings or lobbying, things like that, or whether just maybe support from behind the screen, whatever your way of supporting is. I definitely feel like you're known for expressing that. The tower, heavy like Scorpio energy from your group here. Also, I'm getting Scorpio, Aquarius, excuse me. What is it? Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Virgo energy coming from this group. Those could be your sign, sun, moon, or rising. I'm also picking up Mercury and Uranus. So certain placements in those can be significant for you. So the tower energy, you can be somebody who's very like random or serendipitous. You just may People just may not have you fully figured out. You can be somebody who's, one day you may show up in one energy, and then the next day you show up in a completely different energy. You're just somebody who has a lot of layers to them, kind of like an onion, or a parfait, whichever one you want. But again, you just have a lot of layers to you that people try their best to figure out. People try to, push you and force you in a box, but you're just somebody who just you don't fit in the box very well. You're excuse me, you're more of a penthouse type of person. You don't want to be um you don't want labels. You want action. You want um movement and change. You somebody with this tower energy, you may enjoy change. Oh my gosh, excuse me. You may be somebody who enjoys change a lot. Give me a second to get some water. Ooh, okay. There we go. But yeah, you may be somebody who maybe your sense of style, your aesthetic can be just very different. You may be somebody who could be I'm hearing like a what is it called? A maximal list. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. But I'm seeing what's her name? She's like a fashion. I think her name's Natasha Morgan. But I know I follow her on TikTok and like her videos, every video where she's showing off her outfits, it's like colors everywhere. She has her visor on, she has her hair spiked up, she has this wild makeup on, but like she's being herself and she's herself unapologetically. And I fucking love her for that. So that's kind of the energy I'm getting. That may not even necessarily be you. You may not be super flamboyant when it comes to like your clothing or style, but it's something about the way that you style yourself, or maybe certain accessories that you may wear, certain colors that you may have a signature color or signature scent. There's just something very distinct about you and the way that you show up in the world. And people really admire that about you. People really notice those things about you. Um, hmm. But yeah, heavy on like the change energy. You may really be open. You may be someone who's very open to change. I feel like you understand that a lot of times change is necessary. Especially, I'm getting like change on a worldwide level as well, or on a societal level. You may be like really pushing for that or craving that, like really wanting things to change in the world or in our, you know, country or um, society as a whole. What else? It's like you're not afraid to get down and dirty. Two of Swords. You can be somebody who I don't know. I'm getting a message when it comes to change. You can be somebody who may feel like crossed up or like powerless to change. But I feel like that doesn't stop you from, speaking your mind or having certain values, beliefs, and opinions that you may express. Um, Another message, some of you may be someone who can be with the Two of Swords energy, um, maybe a little bit indecisive. Um, or at least that's how other people may view you. I feel like you know what you want. I just feel like on the outside, others may view it as you don't know what you want, or you're just kind of doing random things, especially with this tower energy. You may come off as very random to others, but in reality, like you know what you're doing. You know exactly what decisions you're making, what choices you're making, and you know the outcome of those choices. And even if you don't know the outcome of those choices, you're still just going to do it. I'm hearing for the plot, you know. But again, like how you're kind of viewed from others around you is that you're just kind of doing very random things. You may come off to others as if like you don't have an actual plan, or yeah, you may come off as that to other people, but it's like you know exactly what you want. You know what you're doing. Other people may not see the vision, but you see it clearly. Ace of Swords energy at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you definitely see things clearly. But again, other people just you cause a lot of confusion within other people. But that's not your problem. Look at that Seven of Cups energy again. That energy of confusion. You stir up a lot of confusion in other people. But with this Three of Wands energy, this causes a bit of a expansion in other people's minds. Um, and causes other people to see things from a different viewpoint or a different perspective, which is very powerful gift to possess. Is that gift of influencing others. It's like you may even have Seven of Cups energy here. People who try to copy you or copy, what you do, how you do it, copy things that you may say, maybe copy some of your interests, your beliefs, your values. But nobody can really replicate the original. And that's the truth. Anything else, spirit guides? I'm getting a random message. Some some of you, make sure you are keeping up with like cleansing yourself, cleansing your energy, cleansing your home. Some of you, your vehicle. Make sure you're cleansing yourself and the things around you. Especially with all of this energy of others kind of observing you or kind of placing their own opinions and assumptions onto you. Just be really careful with that. But definitely make sure you're upkeeping with your cleansing rituals, um, doing it daily, and also keeping up with your protection rituals too. The very random message, but somebody here needed to hear that. Whew, okay, group number. What is this? Group number 3. I believe these are all the messages that I'm saying for y'all. So let me know how this reading resonates for you in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all stay well, stay blessed, and I'll see y'all in my next reading. Peace out.